From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on your Monday night. I'm Russ Riesinger. Hundreds of Yellowstone County residents will converge on Metro Park tomorrow to begin the process of protecting themselves from COVID-19. It's a combined effort between Riverstone Health and Billings 2 hospitals to get the vaccine in the arms of people in groups 1A and 1B. Q2's Mitch Legge took a tour of the facility today and shows us what to expect.
The Yellowstone County Unified Health Command is preparing to stand up its first centralized COVID-19 vaccination site that has a max capacity to vaccinate 850 people each day. The location, Cedar Hall on the Metro Park campus, right next to the 4-H building. On Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week, 37 healthcare workers will administer a total of 2,250 first doses of COVID-19 vaccine. The goal with this site is in the coming weeks, Billings Clinic, St. Vincent Healthcare, and Riverstone Health will centralize their vaccine efforts here.
The biggest advantage for the community is having one telephone number to call if you don't have internet access, and the other one is one link to be able to schedule your appointment on the internet, instead of having 3 different locations to go to.
People can easily park right in front of Cedar Hall on the Metro Park campus. They're asked to not enter the building until 5 minutes before their appointment to cut down on the number of people inside at a time. And while inside, people will be required to wear a mask. After you get registered to have your vaccine, you'll be shown to one of these seats. Then a nurse will prick your arm, where they will then monitor you for 15 to 30 minutes for allergic reactions. Also during that time, they'll schedule you for an appointment for your second dose. That appointment is very important not to miss. Second doses of vaccine are automatically allocated by the state. So if you miss your second appointment, it could be a long time before your name comes up again.
We'll have a list that we'll keep, but boy, it might be 2 months, it might be a month, it might be 6 months until we can get you that second dose if you cannot show up for that second dose appointment.
Neal said it's likely that people receiving a vaccination at the Cedar Hall Clinic will have their second dose at a different location in Billings. As vaccine becomes more available, the Cedar Hall Clinic can move through a maximum of 8,400 appointments per week. In Billings, Mitch Legge, MTN News.
Thanks, Mitch. And here's how you can secure a vaccine appointment at the Cedar Hall site. Appointments can be made online by visiting mtreadyclinic.org. Tuesday's all booked up. There are still appointments available for Wednesday and throughout the day on Thursday. Appointments for future weeks can also be scheduled over the phone by calling the number you see there on your screen. The clinic will be open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays each week. And if you're currently waiting to get your second dose of vaccine, public health staff asks that you get your second dose at the same location that you got your first. As vaccinations ramp up, Montana's confirmed COVID numbers continue to trend in the right direction, although it is clear that COVID-19 is still spreading. Health authorities across the state reported 2 new deaths today, along with 177 new cases. One of those deaths right here in Yellowstone County, the other in Park County. 231 Yellowstone County residents have passed away from COVID-19 related illnesses, while the state has lost more than 1,300 people, and nearly 94,000 Montanans have now recovered from the virus. Another sign of hope is nearly 5% of Montanans have been fully vaccinated since the vaccine first arrived in mid-December. 180,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in Montana as of today, with more than 52,000 now fully vaccinated. By comparison, Montana is performing better than most states for vaccination efforts. As of February 14th, the state ranked 16th among all states for full vaccination, while neighboring states of North and South Dakota sit at 3rd and 5th, respectively. Dr. Anthony Fauci has estimated around 70 to 85% of the population needs to be vaccinated in order to reach herd immunity. According to state and local officials, the biggest challenge for Montana's performance right now is the state's federal vaccine allocation. Montana ranks 45th among states in terms of vaccine allocated per capita by the federal government, and state and local health experts say Montana could realistically be administering at least twice to 3 times the number of doses were they available. Here in Yellowstone County, more than 30,000 doses have been administered and more than 10,000 people are now fully immunized. In the latest federal COVID-19 aid package approved by Congress, Montana has up to $200 million for assistance to people having trouble paying their rent or heating bills. But as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, state lawmakers have authorized the spending of only $17 million of that amount so far.
At a meeting of lawmakers Monday, state commerce officials said they're estimating that $44 million in this federal aid could be distributed to as many as 8,000 Montana households through the end of June. And there remains an additional $150 million available if the need is there. That money is meant for people who have been unemployed or underemployed because of COVID-19 and are unable to pay rent or heating bills. Cheryl Cohen of the State Housing Division said it's estimating that between 10,000 and 30,000 Montanans could fall into this predicament. And she says there may be 10,000 potential evictions when a March 31st eviction moratorium ends. Cohen said the state hopes to leave no stone unturned in its efforts to promote the program. State Senator Mike Lang, a Republican from Malta, said he hopes the state is making it easier for people to apply in all areas of the state, electronically and by telephone.
There's a lot of stones in eastern Montana that maybe need to be turned over, so please make sure those people understand it.
Both tenants and landlords can apply for the money. Yet, while the state is gearing up to launch its program to distribute this assistance, so far the legislature has authorized only $17 million to be spent. Some lawmakers at Monday's meeting said there's ways to add money into the budget, but took no immediate action. Still, anyone who thinks they might be eligible for the program can find out more at emergencyrental-assistance.mt.gov or call the state at 406-841-2840. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The program is set to begin as soon as Governor Gianforte signs a bill authorizing the first $17 million of the money. With COVID-19 hitting early in the year, that meant less travelers hitting the skies in 2020 around the nation, and that was no different at Billings Logan International Airport. According to the airport's annual operations report, Billings saw nearly 48% less travelers than it did in 2019, with fewer than 249,000 people actually boarding flights. In 2019, Billings Logan International saw nearly 475,000 travelers come through the gates. United Airlines saw one of the biggest declines in Billings. They were down nearly 55% in 2020. All right, turning to Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh now. Ed, it is still cold out there, but we finally got above zero for the first time in 8 days. Good to see that cold get out of here.
That's for sure. Gradual but steady as she goes, and still hanging above zero here through the evening hours for most locations. Only Cutbank didn't manage to make it above the zero mark today. They're still sitting at -1, but some teens, 20s, single digits across the area, including 7 right now in Billings. Compared to where we were at this time yesterday, it's 36 degrees warmer for you right now in Livingston than after 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. 15 degrees warmer in Billings, 10 degrees warmer in Miles City. You can see 18 degrees warmer in Cody and 5 degrees warmer for you in Sheridan, but at least it's on the upturn. So where did all the cold air go? It's all the way extending down. Check out the temperature right now. The same reading in Dallas that we have in Billings, Montana. They're setting records down there that go back to the 1800s and early 1900s. Look at the forecast coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Ed. Nearly 2/3 of Americans are facing that massive winter storm as it marches across the country. In Texas alone, 3 million customers are without power and heat, a dangerous situation with unusually low temperatures forecast to drop even more. Here's CBS's Elise Preston with a look.
A firestorm of winter weather caused this in Counter, Louisiana, after a transformer blew. Stranded cars on slippery highways in Little Rock, Arkansas, and brought dangerous sub-zero temperatures to Minneapolis, where the low is forecast to dip to -18.
Just move. There's plenty of movement we can do. Because we're moving boxes that are about 30 pounds at least, if not more, and just move fast.
The cold is a major concern in Texas, where snow covers the sand in Galveston. Millions of homes and businesses have lost power, and there's a state of emergency. Record-breaking use strained the system, leading to rolling blackouts.
The next few days are going to be very tough. To those who have lost power, I know you are frustrated. I know you're miserable. I know you're uncomfortable.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling up the National Guard to help move people to warming centers.
The ultra low temperatures will last for several days, meaning that what becomes frozen will remain frozen for a long period of time.
Slow down, slow down, slow down.
Conditions are already treacherous. A truck lost control near Austin, and this man barely escaped when a car crashed into a police cruiser in Schulenburg. Ice is the enemy in Portland, Oregon. The weight of it collapsed the roof of a Safeway store and elsewhere snapped trees. 200 million Americans are under weather alerts and warnings. Elise Preston, CBS News.
Thousands of flights have been delayed or canceled because of those storms. Well, today the Montana State Senate advanced a bill meant to reserve some non-resident deer and elk hunting licenses for people who want to hire outfitters in Montana. But before the vote, the Senate substantially amended that measure, and the sponsor wasn't happy about it. In its original form, Senate Bill 143 reserved 39% of non-resident big game hunting licenses for outfitter clients. Outfitters had come out in strong support of the bill, saying they need the assurance that their clients will get licenses rather than being subject to a lottery. But on the floor of the Senate, Democrats and some Republicans amended the bill to take out the set aside for outfitters. Instead, they said non-resident hunters who want to hire an outfitter can pay $300 extra for a license and enter an exclusive early draw to try and get a tag. The amendment passed by a single vote, 26-24. The bill's sponsor, Republican Jason Ellsworth of Hamilton, voted for the final version of the bill, but indicated he may try to change it back once it reaches the House.
Yes, as it stands, I'm not in full support, but I guess that's also the reason why we have two different bodies. So I will be working on this with the House and hopefully getting this back on the path that it belongs.
The Senate endorsed the bill on a 27-23 vote. It faces a final Senate vote later this week before it goes to the House. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2, a new local pharmacy is on the front lines of COVID-19 testing, but actually has much bigger plans for the future. We'll explain in tonight's Rebound Report. Then a little later in sports, it may not look or feel like it, but it is time for football at Rocky Mountain College. We'll meet up with the Battling Bears as they prepare to hit the gridiron.